the thing is that, I mean, you can't tell. There's no difference. There's no difference in the brakes. I drove it for like half an hour, 40 minutes, and you can't. There's nothing wrong with the brakes. I asked him about it. He said that the guy that did his brakes, you know, when they took it to get the brakes done, you just can't get the light to go off.
My wife's car is used. We got it. No, we're not doing some like shady back alley deal like you're doing. Okay.
We aren't too far from an alley. But
okay, we're not doing what I did when I was working in catering halls and I just got my license and that's all I could afford. Okay, and it's not one of these deals. We went to CarMax, and even buying a van from CarMax, you know, like I just had to spend $500 to fix a door and buy 2 new tires because the 2 tires were like warped on the car and the car was like shaking.
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Sound
like a hamburger.
The tire sensor has never worked. It has been like broken since we've had the car.
Yeah.
There's the car has required not a ton of maintenance to get it to where, you know, like it mostly runs fine. I'm not going to talk bad about a car that we got from CarMax, but even a CarMax car has had its issues. Want to know how many issues my Corolla has had since I bought it? None.
Okay. How old's the Corolla?
I got the Corolla in 2016?
Oh, well, no, it's only 2 years old. Whoopty fucking do.
I got my Corolla in 2016, right?
Was it 16 or 17?
I don't remember anymore. I think it was the end of 16.
Okay, so it's a model. What year model is it? Is it a 2016?
I believe it's a 2016 Corolla.
Okay, well that doesn't surprise me. It's 2 years old. I mean, you're not really going to have too many problems with a car that's 2 years old.
Yeah, but even when I bought what I'm saying is like, if I'm gonna buy a new car, I'm gonna buy one off the lot. You know, I'll take the loan, and you know, I'll see. You know, I'll do what I need to do to have a car that I know is gonna run and not give me any problems. I mean, the money you spend on
repairs
is far more than what you're gonna save by buying a used car.
All right. Well, I'll take that under advisement, sir. There's a few things that hamper me from going to the car factory, the car lot.
No.
You can't buy these things from the factory. Wait a second. That is credit issues, number one. Okay, so I'll be open and honest there, because I just, I have a feeling that, that would be one thing. And number two, I'm just, I'm deathly afraid of getting shafted in the deal because they know more about what they're selling you.
Well, what is shafted? I mean, take a look at, pick a car out, pick a car that you want, right?
Okay.
And price it new at the lot versus anywhere else. This isn't, I mean, like, if you're talking like 20, 30 years ago and you're talking about used car lots, then I can see like, oh, I might get shafted. But at this stage, these are all like Fortune 500 companies. They're selling the cars at, whatever the actual like market value is. Not to mention, a lot of times they're giving you like crazy discounts because like every year they're not selling enough cars. So they're always so in other words, if you can wait for a sale where it's like, we are trying to get rid of last year's cars and we can't get rid of them fast enough because the new cars are coming in, you can actually get one for a halfway decent price with a lot of extra stuff. Look, I went no money down on my car, and my car payment is like, I don't know how much you can afford for a car payment, but my car payment for my Corolla was $406, and that was like no money down. Not the world's best credit, and I think I was trading in my Prius at the time.
I'm not doing $406 a month.
Okay.
I will put that out there. But of course, again, I'm not. That's kind of where I'm stuck at. Like, man, how
much are you looking to spend on this car?
The van that I'm looking at right now, well, $2,000 was probably close to what we were going to get, used. So
take that money and put it as a down payment on a new car.
Okay.
And see how much and talk to them, because I went in there and I was like, here's what I can afford for payment, and they got me as close to that as they could with the nothing I was willing to give them.
Ronnie, can I have your dad come up here and represent me?
Sure.
Ask him how much he charges to give me a good deal. I have him walk into one of these places and be like, all right, let's get down to brass tacks. That's what I would hope he would do. And
he'd walk in with you and just, probably nudge you yes or no. I mean, it's what he does.
All right.
I don't like I said, I don't think the car business in 2018 is nearly as like shifty as both of you seem to think it is.
I'm both. What
yeah, I was gonna say Ronnie. I don't know if
I went through a dealer to get my Jeep.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't trust my dad. I don't trust dealers. Now, granted, maybe that's what I'm thinking of is used car lots and shit like that. But I don't.
You're thinking of the stereotypical, car lot. These guys work off straight commission. They want to sell you a car.
Yeah.
And they will work with you to sell you a car. Otherwise, they don't eat.
That's the thing. Yeah. I mean? That's the thing is like they're willing to take kind of crappy deals just to get the car off the lot.
Yeah. If they don't get the car off the lot, they don't get paid.
And a lot of times it's like their sales manager is saying, no, you can't sell a car for $5 because that's all they're willing to give you. You have to.
Right. Yeah. We have to make money on it.
Right. But the salesman, honestly, if the salesman thought he could sell you a car for a bunch of bananas, they would. Because then they got a sale.
Yeah.
So they work with the sales manager, and the sales manager say, "Hey, look, this is as much as a damage as we're willing to take on this." Again, I think you have this impression that the car business hasn't changed in like 50 years. It's changed considerably.
Okay. All right. Well, I will again, like I said, I will take that into thought here, and I guess we'll go ahead and get started here with our show.
I would tell you walk in with an idea of how much, have how much you're willing to put down.
Okay.
And then say, look, this is almost how I bought every single one of my cars. Hey, I'm willing to do this, and I'm willing to pay this much a month. What kind of car can I get for that? For what kind of car can I get for what I'm willing to give? And then they'll say, okay, well, we'll take you because when I bought my Corolla, and that was a deal where they sent me a letter saying like, we want your Prius, we need your Prius. So I had something that they wanted, and they were willing to give me a deal, as far as getting me out the door for that car. So like, I didn't put anything down for my Corolla. I just gave them the Prius and was like,
that's what I did with my Equinox.
What were they? Is that just a tactic for them to get you in there, or did they actually need the car for some reason?
They know what sells used and what doesn't.
Okay. All right.
They can flip that Prius, no problem.
That's what I was wondering. I didn't know if there was some kind of a tactic there.
They gave me full blue book for my my vehicle.
Yeah.
Because they gave me $4,000 for it. They offered me 15 and I laughed at them. That was the sales manager, telling the salesman what to do. And I was like, no, we're good. I'll go somewhere else. And the salesman was like, wait. And then he went in and pretty much probably put his reputation on the line with the manager.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, we want to sell this guy a car. What can we do? And they gave me full blue book, nothing down, and I was like, okay, I can do that. And they gave me, something that was, they gave me a payment that was easy enough for me, and I don't want to say easy, but, they gave me a payment I could afford.
Yeah.
And it The Equinox they took though, I know for a fact they got probably 10 grand off somebody else.
Really?
Yeah, they put another couple of grand in it, and they made their money back. That's not the issue.
You know, like I said, that stuff. I think another thing that scares me is the commitment to payment. Like, you know, okay, I've got another 10,000 I gotta owe on this car.
Oh, please. I owe like 25,000 on my car.
Fuck, man. That is imposing numbers, sir. To have that hovering over my head. When I go
do you know how much I owed on my Prius when I sold it back to them? I think I owed like a 20,000 on that one, and that was the other condition. I'm like, I haven't finished paying this off yet. You gonna pay it off? They're like, yes, done.
Oh wow.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I owed money on the Prius, right? So let me go back a step. So I had a Toyota Corolla, but it was like an older Corolla that my parents had given me, right? And I had put $2,000 into fixing the brakes on it, and that kept it going for a few more years. And this is when I was commuting to the next county for my job, so I was doing like 100-mile commute daily.
Ugh,
front to back.
Yeah,
round trip, right? So I eventually destroyed the brakes once again on that car, and it was going to cost me like another couple of grand to completely redo the brakes. Like up to this point, what
did you do?
The brakes just wear after a while. I had,
nah, sir, they wear. Yeah, they wear after a while. You don't destroy your brakes.
They wear if you just ride your brakes constantly.
Some would say I drive a little slow.
What's that noise? What is that loud squeaking sound? I have no idea. What's the loud grinding sound? I have no idea.
Well, that was the thing, is there was a point where like my brakes were grinding, and I refused to believe you up, didn't you? And I just refused to believe there was a problem. That might have been the issue, so I was paying these money for these small fixes, and eventually the small fixes weren't going to help, and I was going to have to replace the entire brake system. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just buy a new car. So I took that car in and put it towards, now that car was completely paid off. And I put that car towards a Prius, right? Got the Prius, started making payments on it, and a couple of years later, switched jobs. I started working closer to home, and I was like, okay, I would have kept the car. It wouldn't have been an issue, but I really didn't need a Prius anymore for the amount of driving that I was doing. It was kind of a waste. But it was like, but whatever. I was paying for it. So I get this letter in the mail, like, hey, we need your Prius. Come in and we'll make you a deal on a new car. Like, okay, sure. I go in there. I'm like, so this is how much I owe on the Prius. This is how much I'm paying on it, and I'm not willing to pay more than what I'm paying currently. And I have no money to put down for any new cars. I'm perfectly willing to go home, or unless you have a deal you can make for me. And they did. They're like, we'll pay off your Prius. We'll give you the value for the car towards a new car, but basically the only car you can afford here is a Corolla. And that's what I got. And I ended up with the car that I have now.
Toyotas are good cars, so that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah, that thing will go for 300,000 miles.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm paying a little bit more than, but we're talking like, I think it ended up being like $25 more. But I also got like if I drive off the lot and get hit by a bus, kind of thing. And
drive off the lot, get hit by a bus, guarantee. Come on down.
Yeah. So I think my car payment is $406, which I can afford it, but it makes things tight. So.
Fuck, man. Yeah, that's a different story here. That's shit that I would not be able to even think about. Like anything like $300 a month, that's even stretching it. So,
well, I mean, talk to them. What's going to happen is there's not a deal they can make for you, and then you can go back to
back alley bidding.
Yeah, then you can go back to the guy in the trench coat who's like, "You want to buy a car?"
What you got? What you selling?
He opens up his trench coat and he's got nothing but keys. His trench coat and got keys hanging out of it.
I got you 2000 Geo Prism. I got you
Oh,
one
Lord.
of these right here. Mom still got
I've
one.
got it. Well, dang. The Suzuki Sidekick.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Well, this has been Car Talk on NPR. We have definitely talked some vehicles. Now it's time to talk some comics.
Have you considered selling drugs
How
to afford a new car?
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Life choices, important adult life choices.
You should absolutely consider selling drugs. I think it's an important life choice.
All right. So this evening here on the Source Material Podcast,
Lord.
yes, get ready, Ronnie Adams. Here we go. Show's beginning. We are going to be discussing a book that came out. Jesse doesn't remember when this came out. Mark Radulich, do you have the trade there in front of you?
I do.
What does it say there? Does it have a date on the inside by chance? If not, I'm going to look it up.
Maybe.
I remember when this came out, as in like being around. It wasn't too long ago. 2013. I've got it.
It came first printing 2013.
There we go. Thanos Rising, a 5-issue comic book limited series published by Marvel Comics that debuted April 3rd, 2013. So here's a book about one of the most iconic Marvel villains, and that is Thanos. Thanos is going to be most likely pronounced two different ways tonight. Thanos and Thanos. So just get used to it.
I call him George.
I love him and pet him and squeeze him and call him George.
I love doing that to my son. I for the last couple of years, occasionally, I'll cuddle him up and squeeze him and pat him and everything. Like, and I will name you George, and he gets so upset. He's like, "I'm not George. I'm Jonas." Hey, come here, George.
Come on, George.
Come on, George.
So, why are we doing this book here, Mark Radulich? Because I know we usually have a reason as to why we hop into.
There's always a reason for the season, baby dolls.
That's right.
And that is Avengers: Infinity War. The end of 20 million years of Marvel movies finally culminating in precious jewelry and gloves that Thanos will use to snap his fingers and wreck the universe. Avengers: Infinity War comes out, if you're listening to this when it's supposed to go up, this week. And so we are actually doing two shows to support and synergize with this movie. First being Thanos Rising, kind of looking at the origin of Thanos, and then on the day Infinity War actually comes out this Thursday, Jesse will drop Jesse will drop our rebroadcast of our Infinity War discussion, because he may have talked about Infinity War once, but I wasn't on that show, so it doesn't count.
It counts, sir.
Yes,
I
look forward to that.
Show.
It was.
Well, the one I'll be on will be shorter and better.
We will. It'll be a lot of fun. Infinity Gauntlet is always a fun story to talk about because it is. It was one of the most popular Marvel events of its time, if not still now. Obviously, we have a movie that's almost dedicated to it, and one of the most important comic book franchise, let's try this again. Comic book movie franchises in my life, honestly. So this Infinity Gauntlet will be a good discussion. Now, the thing we're talking about tonight, just like Mark said, it's the origin of the villain Thanos. So I wondered what we were going to get in here in this book. So here we go. Let's go ahead and we'll hop into the creative team. Now, the creative team is actually the writer is somebody that we've talked about before on this podcast, and that is one Jason Aaron. He's done a lot of great books. I believe the one that we haven't done yet is the Thor the God Butcher saga. That's got to come up at some point here on the show. And oh man, there's a ton of other great stuff that he's done. I think I just actually listened to it wasn't a recent podcast, but he had done an independent book called Scalped, I think. See, I'll just bring up the wiki here real quick. Jason Aaron, because there's a lot of books off the top of my head. I can't remember what he did. Jason Aaron, Wikipedia. Here we go. All right. So the man is known for, wow. Okay. There is a book called Southern Bastards. Ronnie, have you read any Southern Bastards? What do you think of it?
Ronnie, you seem like the type who've read Southern Bastards, have you?
And actually, I have. It started off really good, and then it got a little weird.
Yeah, it's like, what was it, Friday Night Lights?
On crack.
Got your football, and oh man, I wish I could remember the guy that the coach was I want to say his Big Boss or something, or Boss, or anyway. Southern Bastards. He has also done Scalped, which is a DC / Vertigo book. Marvel Comics, he's had his hand in Wolverine, Wolverine and the X-Men, AVX. Ghost Rider. That was another thing. Ghost Rider. He did Volume 4, 20 through 35. So he had a little run on Ghost Rider that I ended up actually getting in a lot off of somebody a while back. So anyway, Jason Aaron's got a great comic book lineage behind him, and he has written some great stories that I've read. The one guy that made me pay attention to Thor is Jason Aaron. So he has his hands on the Mad Titan Thanos here. Now, pencils for the book is one Simone Bianchi. This is the first time I've ever heard of this, I assume, lady. I'm assuming, because I swear we've talked about a Simone before on here, and it was a guy. But the art on this, what's that?
Why not?
Why not? Simone Bianchi. It's a dude.
Nice.
It's a dude.
Welcome to the Source Material Podcast, the home of misinformation.
Yes, it is. Yes, Simone Bianchi. Well, I'll tell you right now, his art is. It's pretty nice. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. It fit very well with the book. So let's go ahead. What we're going to do here, I'm just going to give me like 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to run down the story. Hopefully it won't take that long. And then we're just going to hop in with some talking points here.
You're going to say run down the road.
Run down the road.
Give me a minute. I'm going to run away from home.
But yes, I'm going to run down the synopsis here. Of what happens in the book, and then we're going to throw out some talking points and close up shop. So now I'll tell you right now, before we get into that, Thanos, Ronnie Adams, I mean, you know much about the character? Have you read a whole lot with him in it?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. We've talked Infinity Gauntlet. I know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read anything else with him in it?
A lot of stuff.
Would you mind telling us what it is, sir?
Do you remember anything off the top of your head?
And where were you on the night of? No, go ahead.
We actually did it.
What's with the third degree?
We actually did a book on here. Me and you did a Spider-Man book where it was Spider-Man versus Thanos. You remember that? It was Dean Compton specifically requested that one. I asked for the greatest single issue. Somebody first one to comment. And it was just a standalone Spider-Man issue that came out in the 90s, right after, I think, McFarlane's run on Spider-Man, because I don't think McFarlane was doing the art. But anyway, you can go back in the archives and find that. It was an interesting story, considering Peter Parker dies in that book. But anyway, can you think of anything else? If not, Ronnie,
Deadpool versus Thanos.
Deadpool versus Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! You've read that, and what'd you think?
He hates Deadpool because, well, everyone hates Deadpool. Not because he's the merc with the mouth and just annoying.
I was going to say Thanos doesn't look like he appreciates a lot of shenanigans.
No,
right. But the main reason he hates him is because Death loves Deadpool.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's when Deadpool was cursed with the gift of life.
This has come up before. I remember this has come up before, or I've talked to somebody who's told me a little bit about what happened in that book. I haven't read it, but it sounds very interesting. So it was an enjoyable read.
Pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, almost. I enjoy a good Deadpool book, and it was a good Deadpool book. It was different, but for me it was an enjoyable read.
Okay, Mark, you got much history with the character Thanos?
Don't know much about history.
Huh.
Don't know much. Sorry. I mean,
no, you're not.
Every week.
Every week. Just as bad at work. My major thing that I associate with Thanos is the Infinity Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that, I don't remember much. Though I do own one trade of Thanos versus Hulk, which is a horseshit read because it's really like Hulk versus Annihilus.
Oh,
yeah, I remember
Thanos
that.
is just like a walkthrough. Like, hi, I'm Thanos.
Thanks
for reading.
Like,
comes in, grabs a
got
sandwich from Annihilus and like, so walks out.
I mean, the whole thing is like, Annihilus versus Hulk, and occasionally Thanos just walks through with a cigar and a mustache. So it's like, hello, everyone, and just keeps on, he's got Proxima Midnight honking a horn behind him. It's fine. It's fantastic.
When did he turn into the Marx Brothers?
He's like, let me get out of these wet tings and turn into a dry martini. Anyway, that's really all I know about Thanos. I know that he was a pain in the Avengers ass. And there's a bunch of there's a bunch of trades that have to do with like Thanos and the Silver Surfer. Of course, we know it's the Silver Surfer who gets the Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos. But
is it?
If I remember correctly, yeah, it's like Adam
not.
No, I thought the way the Infinity
Gauntlet
Gauntlet
ends not. He
Adam
goes after it, and in the millisecond it takes, for him to realize, he turns and Surfer misses. It was
he goes. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was Adam Warlock drops his drawers and Adam and Thanos
hey, looky here,
mesmerized by Warlock's penis. At which point,
wow, my gosh, why do you have to talk about somebody's dong every time we do a podcast?
And the Silver Surfer, I really thought it ended this way though. The Silver Surfer like just runs by and grabs the gauntlet off of Thanos' hands.
Whoop, 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 whoop. And just keeps on going.
Catch me!
There is a what if the Silver Surfer had possession of the Infinity Gauntlet. That is a what if book that's out there. I don't know if I've read that or not. I own 2 copies, but I don't know if I've read it. But yeah, Ronnie's right. He goes after it and totally misses just by a split second. Yeah, we'll be covering that again there, Mark Radlich. We'll get your story straight here once we talk that book.
Adam Warlock's penis.
There, I have so many jokes. I will tell you though, on a serious note, that tomorrow, as a extra special bonus episode 159 of Source Material, there will be an airing, and that is, I guess, make that tomorrow, as in April 17th, an auction discussion. Where me and Golden Age Dave talked about the auction I had the chance to go to on April 6th. The reason I'm bringing that up is
Adam Warlock's penis.
I saw the first appearance of Adam Warlock, which, by the way, the cover, it reminded me of a Powerpuff Girls episode, because it was Adam Warlock, I think, was known as him. Just him.
Yeah,
for a while.
He was.
Wait, what's
nice?
What was he known as?
Him.
You know what's funny about this? I don't feel well. Okay, like my sinuses hurt. And I'm tired, and like right before we got on the podcast, and I'd like halfway fallen asleep on the couch. I almost called out tonight because I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to record. I'm like, no, you know, I called out a lot last year because I had the cancer, and you know, and I don't want to call.
I feel so bad about laughing at that, but the way you put it is just gold.
So I was like, no, you know, like I make Jesse do all of these shows. I write this crazy schedule. I can't then bail out just because I have the sniffles. And I'm like, you know, and before we got distracted with Jesse's ridiculous car troubles, I was like, I was going to say to Ronnie, I'm like, I'm not going to give you any shit tonight, Ronnie, because I'm really tired and I'm really sick and I just want to go to bed. Meanwhile, I can't stop talking shtick. And speaking of shtick, Adam Warlock's penis.
Oh my
goodness.
Him.
Oh, him.
But anyway, yes, Adam Warlock's first appearance was amongst
quality shows for you here, ladies and gentlemen. Quality shows.
And the first appearance of Thanos.
I'll be curious to see what he cuts tonight and puts in the in
the old gag reel.
Yep.
Oh man, and what is left on the cutting room floor. So, okay, here we go. Thanos Rising, 2013. I'm just going to run down through, like I said, maybe take me about 5 to 10 minutes to get through this synopsis. So bear with me. Don't fall asleep. That's all I ask.
Wait,
here we go.
I can spare. I can save us a lot of time, and I can summarize the story.
Okay.
Thanos is born. His mother nearly kills him. He becomes a awkward teen. This starts hallucinating. Kills a bunch of people. Continues to kill a bunch of people. Kills more people. Story ends.
Now that is this book, these books,
so wrong
in a nutshell, and does Jason Aaron so much disservice, because this tale was told very, very swimmingly, in my opinion. It was actually swimmingly. It was done well. It was done well. So yes, what Mark said is pretty much correct. Now I'm going to give you a little bit more finer details here. Okay. Sorry, Mark, you're going to have to sit through it. All right.
Suck it, Mark.
If I'm going to write this shit, I'm going to read it. Okay? Because I read it. Him. All right. Thanos.
What is happening?
Born stuck between Powerpuff Girls and Adam Warlock's ding dong. All right, here we go. Thanos, born a mutated member of the population of Titan, whose own mother tried to kill him after birth, grew up almost like any other child. A vivid imagination, an incomprehensible appetite for knowledge, Thanos was at times weak-willed and a stark contrast to what we know of him today. It isn't until he meets a young girl who convinces him to take his friends to explore some caves, and they get trapped in a collapse. Thanos is the only one that survives, and many think him to have murdered his own friends. His only friend, the nameless girl, stays by his side, persuading him to take his revenge on the lizard beasts that ate his friends in the cave. A few years pass, and Thanos' curiosity grows as he has now taken up the hobby of vivisecting animals. Thanos has also grown passionate for the girl that he met long ago, and even though she is still by his side, she seems to have no interest in his advances, but only to advance Thanos in filling the void he has by upping his game. And that next level is dissecting those like him. Not him, but dissecting other Titans, I guess we would say, other members of his race.
You will remember the Titans.
Yes, you will. There is even a point where Thanos says he will kill no more, and he is sickened at what he has become. But his soul companion makes him realize that he just hasn't looked in the right place to understand himself. It is then Thanos realizes he must murder and dissect his own mother. Now that's issues 1 through 2 right there.
Like you do.
Oh yeah.
I knew that was happening.
Mommy issues. Well, just cut her open and figure out what's causing.
Who hasn't wanted to dissect their mother at some point?
Mom, I want to find out what makes you tick.
Yeah.
I mean, it got dark like pretty quickly. And of course, I kind of expected that. And at the beginning, I wasn't
funny. Wouldn't it have been funny if Thanos had had like a happy upbringing?
What happened?
Toys and everything he wants.
Yeah, he's just not awkward at all. He had like he didn't have one parent trying to murder him and another one ignoring him at all. He had like 2 solid parents. the kids at school just thought he was the bee's knees, and then he just wakes up one day and goes,
Fuck it.
this pedestrian existence. I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna have to start killing people. Like we don't understand. This didn't add up at all. See, someone write a story like that where the origin makes no sense.
Wait a second. That's all he says. I should murder people now.
I should just. My parents love me, and the kids at school think I'm great. I'm gonna murder everyone.
That's some psychosis right there. I mean, it's funny that it's not funny because it's
it's hysterical, Jesse.
It's
you weirdo.
But I mean, psychosis is psychosis, and what we get treated
as is
here.
Laparca is Laparca.
Laparca is Laparca.
And Juventude is Juventude. I can do this all day.
I'm moving on. All right.
That's probably they're the best.
Issues 3 and 4. So after murdering his mother, Thanos leaves Titan to find a life elsewhere. Finding a wife and having a child, Thanos, it seems, has left his murderous ways. Until a new life beckoned him to become a member of a pirate crew, only piloting, never taking part in the slaughter, just watching it unfold. Traveling the galaxy, siring more children, Thanos is challenged by the captain of the ship, who had grown tired of him not taking part in the killing. As the captain is ready to land a killing blow, Thanos blacks out and awakes to find the captain laying in a bloody heap with the crew chanting his name. Taking the ship back to Titan, Thanos finds his old lady friend from his younger days, and his insatiable lust to have her as his bride leads her to persuade Thanos to kill his wife and son on Titan, and all of his offspring soon thereafter. Later, on some random planet, Thanos has grown tired of the killing. I mean, it's just random planet. I don't think there's a name to it, but there's just death and destruction going on around him, and he's just like, ho-hum. It has become...
Ronnie, I want you to know that your influence on me is such that I had a not so nice thing to say about Thanos. It would have been a bit of, kind of a racy joke, but you're here, and now I don't want to make that joke because it would be upsetting for you. So
look at Mark being considerate.
I mean, there was a time I would have just cut loose with it, but I'm satisfied to just make myself giggle while Jesse's doing this, and I'm going to leave it at that.
All right.
And everybody at home is going, Ronnie's a jerk.
Come on, Mark, make your racist joke already. No, I won't do it because Ronnie's here, and as Ronnie has told me, I make him nervous.
Okay, I believe that.
I mean, that's not saying much. I'm a nervous person.
So taking the ship back to Titan, Thanos finds his old lady friend from his younger days, and she persuades Thanos to kill his wife and son.
Who would have thought Thanos was a Schwarza? He's roaming around the world just having illegitimate kids and moving on.
Is that the term for it?
Schwarza?
Sure.
Really?
I've learned a lot of... I don't know what the hell that is.
I've learned a lot of Yiddish.
Yeah, I've learned a lot of terms from you as
Yiddish.
Many Yiddish, gibberish.
So this bit took a turn for me because the whole point was to tell Ronnie I wasn't going to do it, then do it, and then have him react. And all I get is Jesse going, "We learned a lot of words on this show."
I don't know what. Well, hey, that's a real flibber flab. Oh, okay. That's pretty much what it sounded like you said to me.
I thought Schwarza would sound funnier than black guy. Damn it!
What the hell that is? I've heard yenta. What's a yenta?
Oh no!
What's a yenta? Someone tell me because
we don't have time for this.
I watched the Goldbergs, and that term has been brought up a couple times about his mom. I don't know what this all means.
So a yenta,
am I wrong in saying it's Yiddish?
It's Yiddish. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not flipper flab jibber jab.
Flipper jab.
Yiddish.
It's jab jaws.
Yeah, right.
Well, all right then. So, Mark, is there any other education you'd like to bestow upon us so I can understand the reference?
Can we please focus on the fact that I just called Thanos a black guy? Can we at least get some acknowledgement that I made a racist joke?
I don't understand.
Absolutely not.
I really don't. I don't understand. Is that what a Schwarz is? A black guy?
A black guy? Yes.
Okay. All right. Jibber jab flipper flab? I don't know.
Yeah, jibber jab flipper flab.
All right, you have enough material
What
for the
is
gag
happening
reel now. Let's
right
move
now?
on.
Okay, I have no idea. All I come here is for an education. Mark refuses to give it to me until I have to drag it out of him. All right, here we go. So later, has become okay. Yes, Thanos grows tired of the killing. It has become so mundane to him, and the scores he has killed, he has come no closer to having her as his bride. His resentment, his resentment grows, and he orders his shipmates to put her in the brig. But Thanos is surprised to find that they have no idea who or what he is talking about. It turns out the woman whom he met long ago may only be seen by him, and she reveals herself to be the embodiment of death. Thinking himself Mad Titan, Thanos completes suicide. He completed suicide.
And
let me try that again.
Is over.
And he's dead. Thinking himself mad, Thanos contemplates suicide.
Did we start this whole podcast over?
Yeah, all right. Starting with issue 1. Thinking himself mad, Thanos contemplates suicide but cannot follow through. Instead, driven solely now to make death love him. He is intent on quenching. Boy, I tell you what, we're going to get to issue 5 soon, I promise. He is intent on quenching her deadly thirst with a massacre of his own people. All right, so that's where we end issue 4. He's heading towards Titan. He has thought about killing himself because he's realized that he has gone mad, but instead he's turned around and he's just decided to try and make death love him. All right. So finishing out the book, issue 5, egged on by his soon-to-be bride, Thanos lays waste to Titan. And as he thinks his goal is complete, death reminds him he still has one more life to take. His father, the great scientist Alars. Alars attempts to show his son that the thing that is controlling him is not in fact real, but that she is a construct of his own broken mind. Thanos spares his father, all the while questioning his own sanity. As he walks away, Death stops him and falls into his embrace and kisses him. And what I feel is a real symbolic gesture of the hold Death has on Thanos, or the madness that has taken Thanos' mind. And that is pretty much where we end the book. So there isn't much. I mean, there isn't much that happens after that, other than he's just pretty despondent about what he's had to go through. And he walks off in the distance as Death is yelling his name. So there we go. That's issues 1 through 5. I guess first,
typical woman though, right? You know, she spends the entire book, you know, goading him to murder his friends and family and, you know, his children and everything. And it's never enough for her. She's never satisfied. And then, you know, and then and then finally he's like, if you do this one last thing, I'll finally love you.
Oh, how many times does that come up? She's like,
right.
One more thing.
Yeah. You know, take out the garbage. One more thing. Paint the thing. One more thing.
I think you're trivial. I think you're making light of a situation where, you know, a woman is asking him in his mind to commit genocide. And you're saying, oh, it's just like a woman to ask you to take out the trash. It's just like a woman to ask you to kill an entire planet.
Well, women can be demanding.
I'll tell you right now, when we get to rereading, when we reread,
nothing to say to that.
You remember these comments here, Mark, because when we read, I'm not going to say reread.
You're having this just as bad time as I am.
I've had it all night. When we read Infinity Gauntlet again, just wait until we get through that and watch Death and how she acts with Thanos through that.
I remember. She's a bitch.
Dude, it's like, talk to him. She won't. Yeah. You won't talk to him at all.
The whole time.
Giving him the cold shoulder.
He's like, look, I've killed all these people. She's like, my last boyfriend had a bigger penis. Wait, what? That's the whole book.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does not come up in the book ever.
Must have been that one page they had to cut out. All right, well, let me throw some questions here to you guys. I mean, Mark, this is our insight into Thanos' early life. What do you think of his early portrayal, not his betrayal, his portrayal? Man, I'll tell you what. What do you think of his early portrayal?
I know words.
No, apparently I don't. But if you ask Uncle Earl, not Uncle Earl, Uncle Al.
What?
Uncle Earl. Fuck this podcast, man.
I'm really at a point where I'm like,
what is happening tonight? This is amazing. I love it. I love every minute of this.
2. Welcome to the Source Material Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're going to
No. We got to keep it going.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Uncle Al and our good friends.
Not Uncle Earl.
Yes, not Uncle Earl. All right. What do you think of Thanos' early portrayal? Jason Aaron writing this early portrayal of Thanos. I was worried what we were going to get. Mark, what'd you think?
We said it before. This is kind of standard. See, here's my issue with this. It's not that I didn't enjoy the book, because I did. I thought it was a fairly easy read. My problem is he has the one traumatic incident as an infant where the mom almost kills him. And then nothing. You don't really get anything from his early adolescence that would have shaped him to the point where when he's a teenager, he would start to have active psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the one time they show him interacting with other children, they're not mean to him at all. They're acting nice to him. And again, I'm like, I'm not seeing a reason that he should have gone this crazy.
Yeah, I think what Jason Aaron does well here is he kind of throws swerve, bro. All the people are actually nice to him. What I expected out of this was he was going to be ridiculed because he stood out from the rest of everybody else because of his mutation. I figured he would be murderous from the get-go because of his mutation, of what he was like.
I'm willing to buy that he just developed schizophrenia early on if they had addressed it a little bit more. But because they want to get you with that surprise, he was hearing voices all along. It's not really a girl. It's his own psyche. Okay, but then I feel like there had to have been more there. I feel like they hinged a lot of this story on that reveal, and I didn't think the reveal was particularly strong, especially if you buy the argument that it's not him hallucinating, that it's actually been Death communicating with him all these years. Okay, why him in particular then? And again, if any of you, if you've read most people who've read Marvel comics are at least aware of the Infinity Gauntlet and maybe even aware of Death's relationship to Thanos in that story. So again, it's not all that much of a reveal. It's not a huge surprise that if you buy which I don't, by the way, I'm still of the philosophy that that's not actually Death. That's his own. That's the voices in his head. But even if I'm wrong, and that was really supposed to be Death, and certainly the Wikipedia entry seemed to think that was Death, then why would that be a surprise? Death is the whole reason he went on the Infinity Quest in the first place. Mm-hmm. And has been a big part of his character development. So, for me, the book is a mixed bag. One, it's repetitive. And two, I didn't feel like there was enough there to really show why he would have descended into madness the way that he did. On the other hand, I thought it was an okay story. I thought it was interesting to see when he decides he's going to kill, like how he comes to that belief. And I thought him trying to appease what he believes is death was interesting. But outside of that, I was like, okay, yeah, the craziest murderous madman of the universe. Sure, whatever, and like I said, it just kind of all happens. I know people have like complained about the backstory to Anakin Skywalker, and it's like, well, it has to end a certain way, and so even if all of the things leading up to that don't make any sense, or it's like, well, but you still have to have this hard ending. And it's the same thing here with Thanos. He has to eventually become the biggest villain in the universe outside of like Galactus.
Mm-hmm. Ronnie, what do you think of the early portrayal here of Thanos and his young life?
I liked it because it shows truly the Mad Titan part of him. Was he crazy? Absolutely. I think man, I hate to, but I have to disagree with Jesse just because Jesse. Hi, Jesse.
Hey,
I have
how's
to
it going?
disagree. Pretty good. Not really. But I have to disagree with
I'm
His name's
Mark.
Mark, that guy right there.
Why did you guys screw this podcast up? I've been over here steady as a rock. Solid.
Right.
Solid as a rock. Want me to sing some more?
No.
Playing the part of Mark Radulich is Jesse Starcher tonight.
That's my gimmick.
I have to disagree with Mark on it because I really think that's Death. And I think that's who's driving, because what does Death want? Death wants death.
A sandwich.
Well, she needs one in some parts of it. She's looking a little skeletal.
Who knows what a woman really wants? Honestly, Ronnie Adams, you can make the argument that what does she really want? Nobody knows what women want. Women don't know what women want.
Why?
Listen, I don't know how this got on to your hatred of females, but
I don't hate women at all.
I know. I don't know why I said that.
I think it's curious that Death is being portrayed as a woman. Just putting that out there.
Well, it is what it is.
It is.
But
I don't know, if you've dated enough, you would come to realize women equal death.
I didn't want to. That was kind of my roundabout way of saying that. But she wants more death, and who had the greatest potential to create that? To
create it.
To make that happen, and that was Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
how about syphilis?
No, even syphilis didn't kill as many people as syphilis is coming. Hey, syphilis didn't even kill as many people as Thanos did. I mean, let's be honest. He murdered a lot of people, including his own offspring. So, and that, it's never enough. It's never enough for her, and that it almost makes Thanos a sympathetic character in that light because, be it he's insane and murderous, he's just trying to impress a girl, and you do stupid things when you're trying to impress a girl.
Yeah.
So
stupid things like wipe out half the universe.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on.
Well, I think the representation of death here in this book is a lot different than what we're going to read from Infinity Gauntlet. The silent.
Is it really though?
Well, she's
torturing him the entire time. She's torturing.
Yeah, but she's not talking at all in Infinity Gauntlet. And
I don't know how many torture sessions you've been a part of, but
with a woman involved,
there are different ways.
Trust me, sir, I'm married.
Yeah,
you better watch it, pal. If you listen to this.
What the hell are you talking
about?
But
welcome to this episode of No Ma'am.
Yeah, right. All of us with our hands jammed down our pants and
leaning back,
looking towards Al Bundy. But
do people listen to this podcast and go like, "Doesn't Radulich have a daughter? Fuck, doesn't Jesse have a daughter? What the hell, man?"
And who is this Ronnie guy? Why is he an idiot? Why can't he talk tonight? Why can't he get his
contagious,
mind
bro.
right?
You talk pretty.
I'll talk pretty. But for real, there's different ways of torturing him, and she's pretty good at all of them. And it's a silent treatment.
Mm-hmm.
In this, she talks him to death. Hey, you have to kill. You have to kill. You have to kill. You have to do this. You have to make sure that that I am pleased.
Thanos,
And
am I the prettiest girl you've ever seen? Thanos, why won't you talk to me, Thanos? Thanos.
Why do you always have to hang out with the guys? And
Exactly. Why do you always have to go out with your pirate friends, Thanos?
What, do you love the pirates more than me? And then you find out that he's taking dead people back to his bed quarters thinking it's her. And then, he finds that out and it drives him a little more crazy. I mean, come on. It's all mind games, with, death at the wheel. So,
yeah, I come out of this book, looking at how Jason Aaron showed the slow burn of Thanos' mind, pretty much. I mean, and it felt very real to me also, because it almost
made me worried about him.
Well, yeah. I mean, as growing up, he's got a father that loves him and won't dare believe that his son is capable of, doing these crazy things, including killing his own mother, while his grandfather, Kronos, I think is who it was like, what are you,
it's
blind?
Almost like, if you loved him that much, why didn't you pay a little bit of attention to him?
Oh, we're definitely
in the cradle and the silver spoon.
No, this is definitely.
I mean, it is what it is.
This book is Jeremy material. All right, if we're going to go Pearl Jam, Jeremy.
Jeremy spoke in class today.
I don't know if you know this, but every time it's mentioned, does not an invitation to sing.
I was like, what's he talking about? Oh, yes.
I have a song in my heart I will sing, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Apparently not.
So, okay. So yeah.
Clearly, I remember. Sorry.
Gnashed his teeth within the recess and lady's breast.
How could I forget? And it hit me with a surprise.
My jaw.
God, all of Pearl Jam just turned around in a disturbance.
Drop right open.
They're all like, "What is going on? Someone is ruining us."
Just
no, they
like
weren't. Pearl Jam was not good to begin with. So,
oh, ouch. So
take it back. No. Take it back.
Oh, you are talking to the wrong person, buddy.
Oh goodness.
Take it back.
Anyway,
I won't.
So I don't know. I think it was neat to see, Thanos be, slowly positioned. If you look at this book, and let's just say death is
Thanos kill all those people.
Well, death is this construct, in my opinion. Ronnie, I think I'm leaning with Mark on here. Okay, and the thing is,
it's okay to be wrong.
I hear you. I think that, death is, I really can't see this as being death. I think it is his mind playing tricks on him, just like his dad said. You're broken. Your mind is broken. And I really think that what his dad was saying was true. Like, look, it's just me and you in this room. There's nobody else. While death is howling at him, it's his mind that has been, just destroyed. Now, as for the traumatic event, Mark, I don't know. I think the one thing that the girl showed up before the incident that happened in the caves.
I was going to say, when he goes, nothing. He has the one incident when he's first born where the mother tries to stab him. And if you know anything about child development, a lot of what happens in infancy isn't going to stay with you.
Yeah, it's gone.
Really malleable at that age to where, you could survive your mother wanting to stab you and, having to be taken away without it really affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
If once you get to 3, 4, 5, 6, and that happens, it might stay with you a bit. But at that age, not really. And then they just jump ahead to him being at school. And again, he's just like nerdy and awkward. He's not really bothering anybody. And they're just like, hey, Thanos, come play. And he's like, okay. And then after that is when the voices started. And that's what I mean by, like, I don't understand what like schizophrenia is a genetic thing that can happen, that starts to show itself when you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, somewhere in there. Could be younger, depending on other genetic factors or sociological factors, drug factors, etc. Certainly there are some cases of like little kids, and this isn't like, this isn't to be compared with the little kid who has the invisible friend. That's not what we're saying is schizophrenia. But there have been some documented cases of actual kids who developed hallucinations as really small children. But like I said, in most cases, it happens much later in life, and not without, and in some cases, not without a precipitating traumatic event.
That's what I was going to ask. I didn't know
nothing in the book that goes to any sort of precipitating event to me that would have caused that to happen. It would have made more sense had the hallucinations started in the cave.
Yeah. So, Jason Aaron is writing a tale here that is, kind of leaves these things up in the air. I don't think it's a mark of bad writing. I think what it is it's just a way of getting people to discuss. Okay, is he crazy?
Your own adventure.
Exactly. Is he crazy or is he not? Well, the voices started before he went into the cave. So maybe he is crazy. Is death actually the representation of death? Well, if he's crazy, then she's not actually there. So he became crazy in some way, shape, or form. Or
here's my argument for why it's not death. For me, for it to have been death, I feel like there had to have been an explanation as to why she chose him. There really isn't, though. It's just she just does.
Okay. Now,
I'm like I feel like the time to have done that would have been in the big reveal that it's death. And it's like, I saw you, I saw you at your birth. I saw you, all these years, and I waited for my time. Like, in other words, make death more of a villain. To me, it's all just kind of random, which to me speaks of psychosis.
So, are you saying that this isn't with this not being death? Then what happens? Does he go and actually find death at some point? And
yes.
In order to try and woo her, making his
I believe he's inspired by these early events in his life to go out and seek the living embodiment of death.
Okay. All right. Now I could believe that. I could see that.
And if I remember correctly, in Infinity Gauntlet, Death is nonplussed. She's not impressed with Thanos. And eventually she turns on him and joins the other cosmic beings in defeating him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, again, doesn't really line up with Death as portrayed in this book.
Yeah. Ronnie, you got anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really cool look at, I guess I do. It's a really cool look at his, his background. Yeah, his history.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fun read. I mean, I won't lie.
Jason Aaron did a good job of writing a tale that we had a good discussion about. I mean, I think that he leaves a lot up in the air, a lot of interpretation. So that's why I like a lot of what he writes is compelling and it keeps you interested. I didn't know I was going to get there with this book. I didn't know if we were going to be getting, just a tale of him as a young kid, this evil embodiment of evil. This evil, this evil little kid growing up. But no, he did kind of take, oh, it's a nice sweet Thanos. Oh, look at that. That almost feels kind of expected. But like I said, the story is interesting. The story is interesting, and
interesting.
art is great too. There's some great pages throughout that. As the one that sticks out in my mind is the one where him and Death finally kiss, and like I said, I mean, it's a representation of him either accepting his own madness in Mark's case, or accepting Death accepting Thanos' embrace. But so anyway, I will make you love me. I will make you love me. That speaks to that's not, you're not right in the head trying to do that either. Trying to make somebody love you, just Death alone, but making like, you know, somebody who's not completely interested in you to try and love you, that's a tough sell anyway. So no wonder he went crazy. So
It can make you crazy trying to make a woman love you.
That's right. That's right. All right. So anything else, guys, before we I think we did a good job here, at least with the even though we had speech problems, and anything else you guys would like to bring up before we get into plugs?
No.
We covered everything. I mean, I think we covered all the questions that I had.
I don't know. I would have liked to have seen more of Titan in the book.
Yeah.
Shit, Eros. I think they mentions Eros, but Eros is off panel all the time. Like there's even a point where Eros, which is Thanos' brother, I believe.
Star Fox.
Star Fox. That's right. They're sitting down to dinner, and the dad is yelling.
The rapey superhero.
He's like, "Hey, Eros, you know, come on over here." But you don't see Eros. You don't even see, like, he doesn't even speak off panel. So, excuse me.
He's off making somebody love him.
Yeah, creepy. So,
that's why I called him the rapey superhero, because, I mean, there was that whole She-Hulk thing, you know, storyline where she was trying to get him to beat the charges of, like, sexual misconduct, and, you know, talking people into representing him, and then she figured out that maybe he used his powers on her because they had a thing.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and it was weird story, but, you know.
Interesting. Well,
He didn't.
Oh, he didn't? It came out that he did not?
No. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I enjoyed the book. Ronnie, anything else you'd like to say before we get into plugs?
You know, Arrow's got a bad rap in that, and I'm just saying, She-Hulk slept with Juggernaut. So,
did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Juggernaut could handle the pace.
Oh, jeez.
And she got it on with Hercules.
Ooh,
Hercules and
Tony Stark.
I could see Hercules and She-Hulk like getting it on. That seems like a nice couple.
Tony Stark, no.
Yeah, afterwards,
unless she's
laying in bed with bruises, saying "ouch."
Maybe he was wearing the Iron Man suit. Maybe that's what he was doing with the Hulkbuster suit, eh?
No, I read the comic book. It didn't.
He wasn't wearing the Hulkbuster suit.
No,
he wasn't Hulkbusting.
Oh my gosh, man! Hulk bust that cooch out.
Good Lord, man. We've got one on this podcast.
We don't need two.
Remember when Jesse wasn't like this before I came along, Ronnie?
Speaking of bad influences.
The good old days.
Or influence. All right. Mark. Let's get out of here. All right. So that has been Source Materials. Source Materials coverage of Thanos Rising in preparation for Infinity War. Man, it's going to be a fun show. I cannot wait to watch this movie. I'm very excited. I'm glad we got a little glimpse into the origin, which, do you guys know if any of this is going to be showing up in?
They are highly doubt it. They are going to deal very briefly with Thanos' origin.
Okay. I'd figure they would have to give him some time, because all we've had is what, after credit scenes of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we know virtually, if you don't know anything about the comics and you're just going off the movies, you know virtually nothing about Thanos.
Yeah,
right.
He's just been this prune-faced villain that's showing up at the end of these Marvel movies. So
he had a little role in Guardians of the Galaxy. But
Really?
anything that having to do with Thanos has been, bring me the Infinity Stones, and that has not gone well. It did not go well for him.
It does. What was it?
Why should it goes well?
Why should it goes well? So yeah, I don't know much about Thanos other than
don't know much about history.
Yep, there it is.
Don't know biology.
Don't know a whole lot about the guy, so it was kind of nice to have a little peek into his background. He's been all.
I feel like the story could have been fleshed out a little bit more. I think that's my only final comment about it. It's not that it was a bad story. I just feel like they could have done. I'm usually the one that's saying, could we cut some of this? This is a little too long. I feel like this one could have used a little bit more background, a little bit more story.
I don't know if Jason Aaron was kind of handcuffed to, hey, you only got 5 issues, and that's usually the way it works. Or like you got 5 issues, and he might have been on a few other projects. This was 2013, so I don't know what else he had his hands in. I think it might have been sometime after God Butcher, but regardless, they were getting ready because I remember seeing at the end of this there was an ad for Thanos will next appear in Infinity, which that was one thing we were going to talk about at one point, wasn't it? When we were going to talk about just Infinity,
yeah, and then the graphic novel with all the tie-ins is like $50. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah. I don't blame you. So anyway, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into plugs. Mark Radulich, tell us what is on the schedule, sir.
All right. If you're listening to this on YouTube, I'm sorry.
Apologies.
What dropped today on the Radulich broadcast? It's all jokes, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it's making jokes about our friends, the black folks, or women, or whatever, it's all funny, all in good humor.
Tonight, it's been all forgetting words.
It's all I make fun of myself. I make fun of everything. If you were insulted by that, you might want to consult a proctologist to remove the thing up your ass. But anyway. 10,000 dislikes. Anywho, what dropped today in the Radulich Broadcasting Network was our coverage, a very, very brief show, Monsters Unleashed. It's like a 30-minute show and a 10-minute gag reel. Also, tomorrow on the network, if you've listened to this on YouTube, is our Damn You Hollywood coverage of Rampage, the #1 movie of the weekend, at least for now. And then tomorrow is Metal Hammer of Doom, Visions of Atlantis. Next week we're not gonna have a source material, but we will. Sort of. Let me actually look at my calendar.
I actually looked at it earlier today just to figure out what I was talking about.
All right. So next week we'll have a pair of TV parties on Monday and Tuesday. Yes, we won't have source material on Monday because the source material for Infinity Gauntlet will drop Thursday the 26th when Avengers comes out. In the meantime, we'll have a TV party for DC's Legends of Tomorrow. How great was that finale, Jesse?
It was good. It was good. I liked it.
Bebo.
Oh yeah, I told Colton. Colton came in and asked me about something. I said, Colton, turn around and watch this stuffed animal destroy this demon. He watched it for a good, minute and left.
Of course he did. We'll have back-to-back TV parties. One for DC's Legends of Tomorrow season 3, and then another one for the first season of Lost in Space from Netflix. And then we'll have, I don't know how this is good. We're going to do this with the Spreaker setup the way that it is. We'll have to talk offline, but that's supposed to be Coop's pick. Coop's running the show on April 25th. I will be at the Foo Fighters, so it'll just be Jesse and Coop, and then we'll do something off of Coop's list, maybe, or there won't be a show. I don't know how that's going to go. The 26th, like I said, is the source material for the Infinity Gauntlet. The following week, when this show airs, we will also be doing a Damn You Hollywood for Avengers, Infinity War, and Metal Hammer of Doom, Godsmack, When Legends Rise. So
let's think about this, gentlemen. Do we really want to air this?
With this show, yeah, buddy, I can edit it down to at least 10 minutes of good content. That would be me reading, and then that would be the rest.
It'll be fine. Look, we had a reasonable discussion of the book. There's just not a lot of the book to discuss, and so I backfilled with racist humor.
That's a great go-to.
And you guys backfilled with murdering the English language and anything that got in your way.
Oh yeah,
bring it on.
Speaking of bring it on,
Ronnie Adams.
Now here's Ronnie Adams to tell you when the Toys R Us show is never going to come on.
That was about 90% of the gag reel too.
Yeah, it was.
Shit about the Toys R Us show. Get off my nuts about the Toys R Us show.
Come on, Ronnie. You don't want to grow up. You want to be a Toys R Us kid, right?
I don't have a show anymore.
That podcast does not want to grow up. I don't want to grow up. I don't want to get on the network.
I don't have a show anymore.
Okay.
It was called the Screaming Boy Podcast. You were able to find us on any kind of social media. If you happen to look for us when we were still around, it was Screaming Boy Podcast on Facebook, at Screaming Boy PR on Twitter, and Screaming Boy Podcast on Instagram. But you can't find those anymore. We had a lot of good shows, but this last one has made me want to murder people. So I thought it best just to, call it quits.
Aw.
Yeah, whatever. You suck, Ronnie.
And
Adams.
all of that is a lie. That's a lie.
April Fools.
I mean, you can really find all that stuff if you look for it. And we haven't called it quits. And it was still there. And that's all I got.
When was your last show?
I don't even know.
It was January. Want to know how I know that?
Because you make it your life's goal to torture me.
No, because I keep checking, and I see the words "The Empire Strikes Out" January 17th. It haunts me. I check it every day. Oh, is he uploaded it today? Nope. Still The Empire Strikes Out.
It's my show.
I know.
I do what I want.
Mark,
Okay.
you've been walking a lot here lately. I know you have because I keep seeing it post up on Facebook. Tell me how fucking fast you have to walk in order to go 10 miles in 36 minutes.
Dang.
I don't want to do
Pretty
math.
fast.
Just get to your point.
Well, I just saw a guy post a photo. And he's a friend of mine who's he's a little bit smaller than me, but he's got the treadmill showing he did 10 miles in 36 minutes. I'm like, bullshit.
I don't know. He must have been sprinting because the goal when I was running was to do a 15-minute mile.
Yeah.
A 15-minute mile.
Yeah. Which I came pretty close.
So this guy did 10 miles in 36 minutes. So he did the 5-minute mile.
Walking.
No, wait a second. The 5 mile, what would that be? The 5 mile, how many minutes?
Bull crap is what that would be.
I'm trying to do the division. Hold on.
We all graduated college.
Yeah. 10 miles, 36 minutes.
Yeah.
So he's going.
Yeah, graduated college.
2 out of 3 of us graduated college.
He basically went an hour. He could have walked. He could have done this 20 miles in an hour. So it's like, oh man, a third of a mile a minute. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, Ronnie. Social media.
I told you. I
don't have a calculator. You did it already?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Well, I can't talk anyway. I have no idea why I'm trying to do math. But
everybody that has listened to the show faithfully gave up on us tonight.
Oh, if anybody's listening to us live,
they're like
sad.
They're
sight.
all drunk, and apparently they are not happy with their lives, or something horrible has happened to all of them. This show is no longer fun.
Oh,
that's
wait
not
a
true.
second.
That's not
I had
true.
fun. I had
That
fun
was
tonight.
mean.
Despite
I
my
apologize.
sinuses.
I don't know why I said that.
I don't know, because I keep picking at you mercilessly about you not putting up the Toys R Us show.
I mean, it's not like I have, a doll made of you with knives in it or anything.
Oh, is that why my sinuses hurt? You have a knife stabbed through the nose?
I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
Yes. I do.
How many miles per hour do you have to go?
Are you still
Oh
on
my
this? What is
God.
happening right now?
0.27 miles.
End the
per minute.
show.
Hold on, Siri's going to tell me.
Checking my sources. Here's what I found on the web.
Oh, you did not give me an answer. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, go give the Rattlich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of
Please.
all the great podcasts that we have to offer. Is this one of them? It's debatable.
No. It's not. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not we're not like this all the time.
Yes,
No,
we are.
this is an outlier. This is clearly an outlier. You can get your fix on Route 66 if you go back into that archive. Check out some of the great content that Source Materials brought to you. We talked about
Here's some of our best work. Yvonne!
Yeah, right.
the clip show is amazing. It's coming along real well. And so look, we have
You're
all
doing
sorts.
Are you really editing together a clip show?
Fuck no, I ain't ordering it. I'm not doing a clip show. Although, congratulations to our
I
buddies
cried a little bit just now.
Kapow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, who just hit their 100th episode. And they did a clip show for their 100th episode. Speaking of clip shows, I'll maybe do that when we get to episode 300. Okay, maybe. There'll be
Really,
a lot of
All you have to do is piece together all the gag reels.
a lot of horrible
It's
content.
true.
A lot of horrible content that
What do you
we
think
can put
went wrong?
together.
What do you think went wrong with tonight's show? I mean, I know part of it's I'm an asshole, but I'm an asshole on every show. That can't be the only reason.
I don't know.
I'm very tired.
It was a good show, or a good.
It was a good
it was a good
show.
show. No, let's try that again. It was a good story. Not a whole lot to criticize about it, in my opinion. We didn't really have much to discuss other than just like you said, Thanos went mad, and
He's mad.
We do
I
our
tell you.
best work when we're super negative.
we debated whether he was crazy or not. And there really isn't much else to say other than, was it a good story or not? And the problem is that I try to make it a show by dragging little itty bitty shit out of it, which really we don't need to. So sometimes it's okay just to have a half hour, 45-minute show. I think Monsters Unleashed went very well at the small amount of time that we covered it. So once this is edited, I will say nothing went wrong with this show because guess what? It'll sound like $1 million motherfucking dollars. That's right. I said it. Does that answer your question?
I feel that was a bit aggressive.
Okay. I don't have an answer.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be
Or I'm
good.
burning both of your houses down.
All right, now here we go. Go give the Rattlich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. There's all sorts of great stuff there in the archive for the Source Material Show. We are just like a book club for people who read comics. If you read a story and then you want to hear some guys sit down and talk about the story, then I would suggest you check out what we have there to offer. You might find something you may enjoy. If you haven't had a chance to read a story, we'll cover it. We'll talk about it. It's fun to listen. We are up to over.
If you just want to hear three neckbeards make fun of blacks and women, this is the show for you.
160. Almost 160 episodes. That'll be our next episode. Will be
Have I told you guys about that? That I had to explain to my work wife what a neckbeard was because she didn't know.
No, I did not. I did not hear this.
I was telling her about our WrestleMania podcast that I was part of the most neckbeardiest conversation I think I've ever been in, and I've been in some really neckbeardy conversations in my time. And she was like, "What's neckbeard?" I was like, "Really? You've never heard that phrase before?" She was like, "No, I have no idea what a neckbeard is." And I'm like, "I'm a fat bald guy with a beard," and I just was like, "Hello," like pointing at myself, like, "See this? That's the neckbeard." duh.
Uh,
Like like it's socially awkward, nerdy, type guy, and I said, and she's like, okay, but what's a neckbeardy conversation then? So here's the thing about my work wife. She's like into sports, like her big thing is baseball and hockey and all that. She's not really into like the other side of the culture, like the non-sports side. So a lot of the stuff that I talk about and I'm passionate about, she has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Like occasionally we like the same thing, like we both like Kid Rock for some weird reason, but outside of that, there's not a whole lot of commonality. It's a wonder we get along as well as we do. So so she was like, okay, so I explained to her like what a neckbeard conversation might actually be, and she's like, okay, so what was the conversation about? I'm like, well, essentially we were debating the merits of an undead wrestler, and she was like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, sweetie. you just don't know, do you?
No, it was pretty funny though. So
oh,
yeah, it's when you talk to people outside of your sphere of influence and culture, you really can find out just how small your world might actually be.
Yeah,
indeed. I think about that a lot. How what the people at work. They have I adorn my cube with all sorts of great stuff, but they have no idea what half of it is. Like, what is that? A Hulk? Why is there a red one there? Oh, fuck you. God, leave me alone. Go back.
Why is the Hulk red? Why is your face red?
Right up in a rest.
It's the same. It's like I talk about wrestling and stuff about in front of my work friends, and they just go. It's the blankest of stares. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
After that podcast, did you go to work one day? It's like, oh, I was on this podcast last night, and then they stop you and they go, "What's a podcast?" So like, let's move on.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's this one asshole on the two assholes on the podcast that we're talking bad about the Undertaker.
Ronnie, what's a podcast?
My dad
you uncultured swine.
My dad listened to the on trial we did for Tron because I mentioned the Timex computer, so he wanted to see like what context I was bringing that up in, and he was like, "Oh, you guys did a really good job with it. I actually really enjoyed the podcast." And I was like, "Hey, Dad, did you happen to pay attention to the part where I said I tell people that I podcast and they go, 'What's that? Is that magic? What kind of alchemy is podcasting? Are you famous?'" My favorite is the one where people ask me if I'm famous.
Yes, that's why I'm still here.
Yeah, and do I make a lot of money podcasting? I'm like, sure I do. I come to the jail for kicks.
I come to the jail for the love of the job.
Yeah. I enjoy putting heroin addicts on suicide watch. That's the life for me.
Yeah, I remember the one girl. I think I might have told you guys. She asked me. She goes, "How do you make money in podcasting?" Like,
don't.
You tell me.
Here's the funny thing.
There's only two people doing it: Bruce Pritchard and Joe Rogan.
It's like that's kind of not what we do that for, unfortunately. That's just the way it rolls.
My mom was adorable the other day. She's like, "Hey, Mark, you spend so much time podcasting and blogging. Why don't you do that for a living?"
Because I have a family, Mom. That's why.
Because no one will pay me $70,000 to write The Undertaker's a fag.
Oh man! All right,
right, they won't.
That was a fun discussion.
Yeah, it was. That
was real fun.
Ronnie Adams. So man, let's check on the poll results here. By the way, I don't think anybody's voted on it here recently, though.
Well, last time I checked, Nope was winning.
Nope was winning. Let me look here. I know.
Where did I miss a poll?
I think you voted. Let me look. I gotta go.
Okay, yeah, I voted.
You voted. Who's Ben Carmichael? Is that somebody you know, Mark?
Yeah, no, that's not somebody I know.
Okay, all right. So here we go. On last night's TV party tonight, I put WrestleMania 34 in the bottom 10 of the historic show. Agree or disagree?
Oh, I didn't vote on that.
Well, now 53% say nope. And 47% say, yep, we've got 15 votes. I'm going to share that again.
I will not put that on the bottom. No.
We have the poll ends in about a day, so you need to vote.
I'm
It
telling
was
you,
not good.
Dallas was worse. 11 was worse. 9 was worse.
Share now. There it is.
I don't particularly hate WrestleMania 4. I like the tournament, but I remember like Bruce Pritchard just did that one on his podcast, and people were, and they were like a lot of the matches sucked. And a lot of people have said that that's not their favorite.
There we go. Well, I shared it again. See if we can get. I would need. I guess I would need 2 votes because I think. No. Nope is up by 1 vote, just like you said, Mark. 1 vote. So I need 2 votes on my end to agree. I got Randy Savage. He agrees. Look at him. All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a rather long cut out of the old podcast, but in between plugs. But go give. I already said that part. The other part is, if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to go give the Source Material Facebook page a like as well. You usually share most of what gets aired here over there, and you can follow me at Stiznarkey on Twitter, at SourceMattCast on Twitter as well. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for Thanos Rising. Have
Bingo, bango, bongo, kangaroo.
I don't know that song.
What?
That's about as familiar as a schmutzpah to me.
Fatsa, you uncultured swine. And that was the theme from the Do you remember the video game Kangaroo?
No.
Oh.
Well, when you say a video game, like Atari 2600,
disappointment.
I don't. Super Nintendo.
It was an arcade game called Kangaroo. Look it up. It's
okay. No, actually, I think I know what you're talking about because I believe I saw that on that show I was been watching. Kangaroo.
Oh,
that one.
Yeah. Oh, don't just put in kangaroo, or you're going to get clearly pictures of a kangaroo. Yes, I remember this. So you had the boxing gloves.
Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Ronnie, you remember this. The kangaroo had boxing gloves, and he'd like go up and down levels, and he'd punch like monkeys and stuff.
Like you do.
Ronnie Adams giggles.
If I say no,
it looks like Donkey Kong. He has a bunch of ladders and stuff. It came out in 1982.
And so there was
really
a period where they were taking a lot of arcade games and turning them into cartoons. One of them was Kangaroo. And the theme of it at the end, they would go bingo, bango, bongo, who were characters in the show. Bingo, bango, bongo, kangaroo.
I don't remember that.
I feel I've missed out on quite a bit.
Take a look at it, Ronnie. Take a look at there. Let me go ahead and share it for everybody to see. And let's go over here. Cause a conniption. Present to everyone. There we go. Do you recognize that at all? Can you see it?
I was voting. No, I can't see it.
Is it showing up now?
No.
Are you looking on the right website?
It should be on our. I should be sharing it on our Google thing.
Yeah, Hangouts? No, it's not on there. I mean, there's only like one screen, guys. I'm not.
I see it just fine, Jesse.
Okay, all right. So I was making sure I wasn't sharing it wrong. Do you recognize that at all?
I can't see it,
Ronnie.
All right, now go to YouTube and play the theme.
Oh yes, let's do that. You guys ain't gonna be able to hear.
Oh
it,
yes, let's.
Ronnie ain't even gonna be able to see it or hear it, but I'll listen. Hold on. Kangaroo.
Bango, bongo. Kangaroo. Kangaroo theme song. There you go. No. None of those are right.
Captain Kangaroo theme song?
No. God damn it.
Skippy the Bush Kangaroo, 1960 to 1970.
I want to watch
now
that.
I'm intrigued.
Skippy the Bush Kangaroo.
Change your search to kangaroo cartoon
Cartoon?
song. Yeah. Bingo, bango, bongo.
1980.
If
There we
you
go.
sing that one more time, Radulich. Sorry, I kind of lost it there for a second.
I remember this as a kid.
Why? What? I mean, am I not meant to share in this? Why am I not meant to share in this?
Has it gotten to the bingo, bango, bongo part yet?
Yeah. 1984.
Great. Now in that same search, go down a little bit because there was Woody Woodpecker in a jail cell.
Oh, yeah.
For an hour and 1 minute. Hold on. Now I can't go back. Now I won't show it. Hold on.
Yeah, right there.
Woody Woodpecker Show 1 hour compilation. I'm not going to sit here and watch this for an hour. And Wiener Wars. Why in the world is there a cartoon called Wiener Wars? This looks really new.
Oh, is this the one where if Woody had gone to the
dude.
police, this would have never have happened? If Woody had gone to the police, this would have never have happened.
Making your kids watch this stuff. It's time to go to bed. 10:48.
All right. For Jesse
we
Starcher,
ended the podcast at 10.
For Jesse Starcher, for Ronnie Adams, and for Bingo Bango Bongo.
There it is.
We're out of here.